This is Damon Stevens with Finwell Builders. Today is Monday, September 19th, 2022, and the stock market update for trades of the day. Hopefully everybody felt prepped on Sunday night and had a good day trading today. Pretty well overall flat, but there's definitely opportunities in the market today for some good trades. So let's kind of cover those. But in the meantime, make sure that you're paying attention on Wednesday. We have U.S. interest rate hike on Wednesday. FedEx came out with some bad news. Forecasting some major issues or concerns about earnings this year. So, does that sway the Feds? That's what we want to take a look at. So, be prepared to get some information that may be helpful as we go into Wednesday. So, let's take a look at the market overall now. So Dow Jones closed up 0.64%, NASDAQ up 0.76%, S&P 500 up 0.69%. So, generally, not a whole lot, but we did close up off the lows, which we talked about on Sunday. See, the heat map's pretty mixed. Healthcare had a lot of money coming out of it. Our FANG stocks were kind of overall weak. Apple just really did well today. What a clean chart, really clean chart on Apple. Tesla did pretty good today as well. But we did bounce off the major resistance support levels here today. And that was a positive thing for the market. So we'll see if we get maybe a little bit of a rally here over the next day or so. It's possible also that we could retrace all of today, tomorrow. But one thing to pay attention to is where the market kind of goes in preparation for the meeting on Wednesday. So tomorrow will be an important day to see, does the market pump itself up before the Fed meeting in anticipation that it's going to be lighter, the interest rate will be lighter than what they expect, or is it going to pull down real heavy, preparing for possible bad news from the Feds on Wednesday? That's to be determined. Definitely pay attention tomorrow. And if you're not comfortable trading, just kind of hold off. And that way you can kind of see what's going on over the next couple of days. And as soon as we get the announcement out, we should get some clear direction on where the market's going to go for a little bit here, hopefully. So looking at the scanner, though, nothing hit the scanner that we traded today. It was all just the major caps. But look at the news. You can just kind of see what's going on in the news. The Fed's got to look at and affects interest rates and income and everything else. But you can see here, September is typically the worst time of the year. So this next 2 weeks usually is the worst performance of the stock market. So the question is do we see that or do we not? Looking at FedEx, here was the news that came out. Basically, just some poor guidance going forward, which was kind of a shocker, but that's what kind of sent the market down last week, was this announcement here. So it'll be interesting to see. We also have lockdowns going on in China. They did kind of open up a little bit. They opened one of their cities up. So, it's something to pay attention to, how, COVID, there was an announcement that went out that said that COVID was, no longer a pandemic. But there's other countries that still don't see that. So we just have to be aware of that. And then we have strikes possibly going on. Looks like they're trying to work through those. So, that's all about supply chain. And so hopefully we can keep that, off the radar, get some good news going on here, and hopefully looking at the news of what's going on here. You can see on Tuesday here, we got building permits, housing starts, and then Wednesday, existing home sales. And then here we get the Fed speaking to us in the afternoon. So this is 2 o'clock Eastern time. Jerome Powell will speak at 2:30. So definitely pay attention to that. And then Thursday, we have jobless claims. And then Friday, manufacturing PMI information. So could be a very volatile week this week. So just be careful trading out there. And then, of course, you got all these, markets expecting, they've been hedging with all these puts. So if they can't cover these puts at some point, they're going to have to buy stock and or buy to cover these hedges. So we'll see what happens there. If you look at the calls and puts, so this is people shorting the market versus going long in the market, which is in green. Shorts here at 390 is a critical spot. And so we're nice and close to that area. So that's kind of where people want to cash in. So if we can bring, if the market comes down below that, then these individuals here, they're short in the market, get paid out. If it goes long, it's gone a long way up here. I mean, most calls are at 424, so not likely unless there's some crazy rally here going on, maybe some super good news from the Feds, and then maybe the interest rates, they feel like things are better than they are, and interest rates are not super strong. Then maybe we get a bounce up here. So it's possible, but more likely, looks like we're kind of in this general area right now. And so September 21st. So this is just letting you know, this is where we're supposed to find out about interest rate hikes. If you look at the 50-day, the S&P 500, these are companies that are over the 50-day moving average, which means they're bullish. And you see here that we came down here almost to 20%. So this was kind of that first rally. This was the second rally. Then we pulled down here on Friday, and then today we kind of bounced back up here. So we're around 30% from this 20. So that's good. This is kind of the line I had in here that we kind of where it had support here before. And a lot of companies that were, above that average. Now we're still, below 50%. So we'll see, what happens there. But that was a pretty big hit. And if there's bad news on Wednesday, this very well could drop back down to new lows. So just something to pay attention to. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe to our channel. That way we can continue bringing this content to you, and hopefully this helps you. We have a little bit of training that goes on along with it, so take advantage of that. Also, if you go to finwealthlive.com, we have a free chat and daily watch list that we post out there before the market opens, so that you see what we're looking at a trade, when we're getting in, when we're getting out. So definitely take advantage of that. Also, we have a membership service here, and if you click on this video, you can watch and kind of learn about our company and what we provide. So let's look at some stocks here. So Apple, you can see Apple here came down, hit this low on Friday. Just tag this support line here, just below this neckline here. And then today we had a nice bounce back up here. So right at the top of this candle, this last candle here on Thursday. So we'll see if we can get more out of Apple. But today was a really good run on Apple. So really liked Apple today. Nvidia, same thing, really, jumped off that bottom. We talked about this on Sunday, that we could get a bounce, and we did, and we're actually above our resistance line. So we'll see if we can kind of rally back up here, maybe towards this 140 area before the Fed speak to us. Netflix, also a great day. It's kind of flat here, but I like the last few days here. This has been a nice run. So we'll see if we can get up to this resistance line here before the Fed's maybe 245. And hopefully we can hold that up there. But Netflix, had a good, nice little run here lately. Amazon kind of almost went down here and tagged the bottom, this bottom trend line here, bounced off. It's almost above the resistance line here, which is kind of where this line here, these two little pivot areas here. So we'll see if we can get above that maybe tomorrow and run this a little bit. If not, we'll probably pull back here to this trend line. You can see that's held. So hopefully we'll continue to hold here and not go down to new lows. Microsoft tried to make a run up here. They did pull down and make a new low here in this area before pulling back up here. So Microsoft's still showing weakness. Chipotle bounced off the 20. We talked about this. Bounced off the 20 and almost went up and tagged our resistance line here. So we'll see, if Chipotle can at least consolidate here. If nothing else, try to break up back towards those highs. Tesla, nice run. We talked about this. We have two bands here. One's off these two pivots, which we broke that. And this is off the major pivots. And we are coming right up to it. So if we can break out over 310 tomorrow, we could possibly get a rally up here. We got some resistance at 314 as well. And if we break that, then we could have a nice run up here. So we'll see. We got a nice big candle out here. Let me put a line here just so you can see. So this big candle is what we're looking at, possibly running up to. And that would be resistance if we got that high. We'll see how far we get. Fed's going to either set this back down to the low side here, or allow us to continue breaking out on these stocks. 10-year yield See here, we're right, tagged with this high. So does this put a double top and come back down here, or do we get a new breakout here? That's the question that's going to come up here the next couple days. 2-year yield just climbs here. If you've been in this, I mean, this is paying off really well right now. It's extended past our deviation bands, but it can continue to go. We talked about this possibly getting to 4.5, possibly. If it gets to 4.5, I think we have some huge risk of huge downside of the market, but we'll see. We're getting close to we're just right underneath 4 right now. Dollar flat, which is good. Like to see the dollar flat. Actually, the more it comes down, the better chance we have the market to rally. You see it just kind of bounced off our line here. So hoping to hold support. Now maybe we consolidate here. This actually is kind of like a bull flag here. So this could break to the upside, but right now it's just consolidating. Gold consolidated here below resistance, which will continue to do that with the dollar where it's at. The VIX on a daily chart, tried to come up here. Didn't get back up to our resistance line from last week, but did bounce down here. So if we get some, downward momentum here, movement, and ideally it'd be better to be below 25 and hold below 25 if we want this market to rally. So here's VIX on a weekly basis. You can see again, came up here, pull back down. It's underneath this resistance line. So that's what we want to see and have it keep it down there. So this is SPY on a weekly. Let me go to daily just so you can see the daily. You can see here, this was the rally. We had a pullback, a retest, and then a pullback again. And now we pull back up right off here. And we're right at that resistance. So if we can get above 390, we might be able to get around to 393 or 396. If we don't, and we break back down below 390, then look for a revisit at 388. And if we get bad news, possibly back down to 370, which is kind of this range that we were at back in July. Triple Qs bounce off as well. So we want to get above this line here, start to work back towards the 20-day moving average. So at least it try today. We'll see if it has enough momentum to get going here before the Fed's on Wednesday. Semiconductors, same thing, bounce off here. I like that it did not go below this candle. Actually got above here and stopped right on resistance, over a resistance line. So hopefully we can get a continuation play on semiconductors. IWM, same thing, bounce off of this trend line here. And almost filled that whole gap. So looking for some upside on IWM. On financials, 2 days on this trend, trend line here on this wedge. So hopefully we can get some momentum bounce. We did, close above that resistance line barely. So hopefully we can rally from here. Bitcoin coming down here to test. It actually tagged our support line and our trend line. So hopefully we can get a bounce off of here. But right now still weak. Ethereum right in our trend line for the last couple of days as well. So this is kind of where that comes from. So we're looking to see if that can bounce off that. If not, if we get some bad news on Wednesday, we may be breaking down to lows here again on Ethereum. So just something to watch for. So that's our stocks, our cryptos, things we're looking at in the market. Definitely join our chat and our daily watch list. We'll touch base tomorrow night and review our trades for the day and get a game plan for the next day as we move into this Fed meeting. So definitely have that on your calendar. And if you're not locked in profits in that you want to, maybe consider doing that before the Fed meeting. It's not financial advice, but something to consider since we don't know exactly where their mindset might be yet. So anyway, have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.